What is up, guys? Welcome to the Bladed Wedge Show. It's July 5th, 2020. We're just guys who love watching golf, talking golf, but most importantly, playing golf. If you don't already, follow us on Twitch and Instagram. Those are the best ways to keep up with what we're doing. You can also check out our content on Golf WRX. We've been doing a really good collaboration with them, so been excited about that. It is 4th of July week, which is why we are recording on Monday, not Sunday. We both had huge weekends on the Jersey Shore, so with that being said, Checo, how you doing, man? And how's your weekend?
Good, man. Yeah, I was down on the down in Sea Isle this weekend. Best place to be for the 4th of July. Just hanging out on the beach, great weather. A bunch of friends were down there, so it was an awesome weekend. But glad to be back at it.
And I was at the Jersey Shore as well in Lavalette, so really enjoy that. Been down there a couple times now, but I really need to get down to South Jersey and see you down there. So we're targeting early August and hope we can make that work. But we really hope you guys all had an amazing July 4th weekend. Hope you got out, played some golf. Hope you had some beers. Hope you saw your family and spent some time in the sun. With that being said, we had some amazing golf this week, so let's jump right into the Bladed Wedge tee sheet, where we talk about everything that's going on in the world of golf. This week we had the Rocket Mortgage Classic, which was at Detroit Country Club, of course, that I've actually played in a high school tournament, so really enjoyed watching that. The big storyline of the week was obviously Bryson. We're going to get to him winning later, but to start off, there was obviously a confrontation with the cameraman that made a lot of headlines. So, it was pretty interesting, and I wouldn't say looked great for Bryson, but wanted to get your opinion on it to start off.
Well, it's like, what does he expect?
Yeah.
He's the absolute center of the internet right now, just with all the weight he's added, the workout routines, what he's eating for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. How far he's hitting the golf ball. Like, he is the center of golf right now. And every tournament he shows up to, the storyline is going to be about him in some way. So I think when he gets mad that media is like following him too much, or, giving him too much, like not enough privacy, it's like, dude, what do you expect? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And, I think he hit a bad shot coming into the green, and the cameraman kind of got up behind him to kind of show him on the camera, and he had a conversation with him after the hole. The guy's just doing his job. If you're going to act and throw a tantrum out there and you're one of the biggest names on tour, it's going to be filmed closely, because if the cameraman misses that, it's going to be bad for his job. He's going to get his boss is not going to be happy with that. So I think it's just something you have to expect. And if he's worried about protecting his own image, I think you really have to look in the mirror there and just be like, hey, maybe I have to protect my image on my own. And I know the camera's going to pick up everything. So, I have to behave or act better.
100. Yep, definitely.
Moving on, awesome performance by Ryan Armour this week. He was the heavy favorite in the 1993 USGA Junior Am final, but he lost to Tiger Woods. So, obviously, Tiger ended up, being a great player, but he's a huge grinder in his early 40s now, and he's looking for his second PGA Tour win. But honestly, a really good week of golf for him, and awesome to see a guy kind of come out and play that way.
Yeah, these are the type of stories you just love, where, guy kind of fell off, hasn't found his game in a while, and comes back, plays really well in an event, and hopefully gets like some sponsorships and some other exemption starts out of it, and keeps continuing to get better, because that's like kind of like living the PGA Tour and like chasing that dream. Like, this is kind of what it's all about.
Absolutely. Really great to see him play well, and kind of hope that carries on throughout the rest of the year. But he definitely got a pretty big paycheck. I think he was tied fourth, so good for him there. Kisner, great week, really grinding it out for the tied third. He went really deep Sunday with the 6 under. They didn't, he was kind of coming out of nowhere, but just had played 4 really solid rounds of golf, and like normal, made a bunch of 10-footers.
Yeah, it's just like, imagine being able to putt like Kevin Kisner. Like, he just makes everything outside of 10 feet. Like, I went back and saw his highlights, and it was almost automatic. from like 10 feet. So if he continues to putt like that and continues to, hit the golf ball really well yesterday and put himself in good spots, like he's going to continue to have these T3, T5, and hopefully a couple wins.
Yeah, absolutely awesome to see that. I love watching his game. Obviously, he's been have a lot of content made around him with the Barstool team, but his personality is just really funny, and it's awesome to see a guy who he hits it pretty well, but he doesn't hit it very far, and he makes a lot of putts, and so it's just a different style than a lot of players out there.
Totally, yeah, absolutely.
And then moving on to Matthew Wolff, young gun. You good over there?
Yeah, I'm all good.
Obviously, young gun really got highlighted with his pairing with Ricky Fowler during the TaylorMade match. But the guy absolutely murders the ball, has a really unique swing, went super deep on Saturday, and had a 3-stroke lead going into Sunday. I really think this is the first time he's been in that final group with the lead overnight, and I think the nerves got to him early in the round and kind of derailed him because on the back nine he really settled in and started playing pretty good golf and recovered for a second place finish, but the nerves really got to him, so hopefully he can learn from that and play next time he's in that position, not have it affect him as much.
Yeah, he's a super awesome talent to watch on the PGA Tour. I still don't understand his swing, like how he hits the golf ball, but we'll definitely see him around more often. He just murders the golf ball, makes these courses so short where it's only a matter of time before he has an event where he just goes out and makes a ton of birdies and runs away with it.
Absolutely, and I think
he's also super young. I think he's like 21 years old too.
I know. And they were talking about he would be, if he did win, he would be, within like 3 other guys who had 2 wins before 22, and it was like Tiger, Sergio, Spieth, and one other guy I can't remember, but just amazing that he put himself in that position. And his first win was a eagle putt on 18 to win the tournament, so he hasn't really been in that position where he has the overnight lead before, and so I think it just takes a little bit to get used to that.
Yep, definitely.
And then moving back to Bryson, obviously dominant performance throughout the whole week, but especially Sunday, shooting 7 under, leading in strokes gained off the tee and strokes gained putting. Super impressive what he's been doing. What were your thoughts about his performance this week?
I think he just ripped up the golf course. I think some of the drives you were hitting were just so long. I think we were watching some highlights. I think we were at like a bar or something this week, and they were showing like a couple of his swings, and it was like just averaging like 340, like 325 right off the tee. It's like, you have such an advantage when it comes to these PGA Tour courses when you can hit the ball like that. And it's not even like he's sporadic with the driver. Like he's still hitting fairways and leaving himself like wedges into these holes where that's 10 times out of 10 just gonna be such a huge advantage to be able to go to when you're down the stretch at a PGA Tour event.
Yeah, and he's really hitting 8 irons into 9 irons into par 5.
Yeah.
And when you're coming with that high of an iron, like you're going to hit the green more. You're going to have closer, be closer to the hole and make better scores. So it's really impressive. And the other thing is, like you said, he's hitting a lot of fairways. But even when he's missing fairways, especially a course like Detroit Country Club, or Detroit Golf Club, when he's missing them, the areas he's missing them aren't like the heavily wooded areas that are supposed to like hurt you by missing the fairway for your drive. So he's getting away with a lot of misses because he's in these areas that no one, usually is in.
Yep. And I love Brooks Koepka, like calling Bryson out too for like actually putting in the work and doing what he said he was going to do before like quarantine happened. So he's the center of golf right now, and he's generating a lot of content that us were able to watch and gravitate to each week. So I'm a fan. I definitely support his movement, what he's doing for the game.
Absolutely. And, I think there's the 2 big things that come out of it. I mean, the guy's been playing amazing golf. I really think he's been top 10 in every tournament since we're coming back. But the 2 big takeaways I have here are, number 1, will it translate to majors? And kind of seeing that as we go into the 3 majors this year. And then the second thing is, will other guys attempt to do similar things? And if they do, will it be successful?
Yeah, I think it depends on like the course layouts.
Mm-hmm.
How do they have like if we're talking the U.S. Open, is he going to be able to hit driver off of every tee and kind of just hit it and then have a wedge in? Then yes, it would be, because those greens are going to be super fast, and if you're hitting wedges into these holes compared to 7-6 irons, then that's just a clear advantage. You're going to be able to stop the golf ball on these greens, and you're going to be able to hold them. So I think it will, but no, it'll be interesting to see, like, especially at Augusta. Augusta isn't like a terribly long golf course. So that, we could see him get his first major there.
I know, and it's like I'm thinking about those par fives at Augusta, and he's going to be hitting driver, like pitching wedge or driver 9-iron into a lot of those. Like, it's going to be really crazy to watch, and like you said, really it's must watch golf right now, and it's transcending outside of just traditional golf media, where I saw Colin Coward's picking it up, and it's really, when he's up there and hitting the driver, it's must watch golf. Like, he's pounding the ball, and it's really interesting to watch.
Yep.
So with that being said, this week we're moving into the Workday Charity Open. We've talked about this in the past, but they're going to go back to back at Muirfield Village in Dublin, Ohio. So we have the Workday Charity Open this week, and then after that we'll go into the Memorial tournament presented by Nationwide. So super interesting. There's a lot of things that go into playing a course back to back. It'll be fun to watch this week and see who plays well, and see if that carries into the next week, and see if they can keep the course in good condition. We'll be talking about that a lot next week, kind of post-tournament and getting ready for the Memorial. Obviously a big tournament there. Tiger Watch, still have no idea when he's going to play. We're still expecting it to be the Memorial, but we'll keep you guys updated on that. With that being said, let's move into our rotating topic, which is best fictional golf character. Go ahead, take it away.
Well, I'm going to follow the Bryson theme here and go with Happy Gilmore, just because he crushes the golf ball. And it's like one of my favorite movies. I've probably watched it like 20 plus times. So I'm going Happy Gilmore.
I love that. Definitely a great choice. I'm going to go with Danny Noonan, which is Michael O'Keefe, who's the actor in that. Obviously another legendary golf movie. Love all the scenes in it. But watching him play, and I think winning the Caddy Championship is awesome to watch, and the scene where they're yelling Noonan at him and the putt goes in is iconic. So I'm gonna definitely go Danny Noonan there.
Love it.
Before we get to the interview, we're still looking for help. So if you want to be our third, help us on social or help us with video editing, shoot us an email at bladedwedge@gmail.com. Remember to follow us on Twitch and Instagram, Bladed Wedge on both of those. Next week, 8 p.m., we're really going to try to get back to the 8 p.m. shows and have that first recap. We know we've been pushing a couple to Monday, but that's been more for schedule reasons. But we're going to go back to the 8 p.m. Show. This week, we have an awesome show, or awesome guest. We're going to finish the episode with our interview with Travis Miller, a.k.a. PGA Memes. So he runs that account. We get into his semi-feuds or conversations or interactions with both Smiley and Patrick Reed. We get into how he creates the memes, his background, and really just where things started with his golf accounts, because he runs Hack Patrol, PJ Memes, and a couple other ones. So it was a really interesting conversation. Checo and I were dying laughing the whole time, and it's probably the best interview we've done to date in terms of interviewing someone who hasn't had a lot of other interviews. So we're super excited about it, and definitely let us know how it goes, and we're probably going to have him back on the show again. So enjoy the interview. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Later.
What's up, guys? Super excited today. We have Travis for the interview part of the show. You might recognize him from running the PGA Memes account, Hack Patrol, and Hiss a Lot Instagram accounts, as well as being on the Shane Hammond's podcast. How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, super excited. We did have some technical difficulties there, but we got that worked out. So I'm excited about that. How's quarantine going for you?
It's good, man. It's a little stir crazy. Texas is more open than some other states, right? But it still has its limitations. And I like to be out and about. I travel a lot,
Mhm.
so I have literally traveled, I think, twice, maybe three times since the beginning of the year, and I usually travel about that many times each month. So it's been tough, man. And I traveled just a couple weeks ago, and it felt like I was a first timer. Like I just like didn't know what I was doing, and just it was weird. So just kind of getting back to the new normal of things.
Yeah, I actually took a plane as well from New York back to Michigan, and it's just a whole different ball game now with all the masks and all the protocols. So, I will get used to it eventually, but it definitely was weird.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. So, we're huge fans of your accounts, especially the PGA memes one. That one really stands out to me and one I've been following for a long time. So, how'd you
Oh
get
my
in?
gosh. Dude, hold on a
Yeah,
second,
no
dude. I'm so
worries.
sorry. Hold on. You guys look like you're too young to have any kids, but I'm on daddy duty right now, so I'm sorry. Like,
No,
like,
no worries. That's why they invented editing.
yeah, for sure. So I apologize. She's like right here, and she was sleeping until just then. So apologize.
Yeah, my loud ass voice probably woke her up.
No, you're good. You're good.
Cool. So jumping back into it, PGA memes is definitely the one that I've followed for the longest. But kind of taking it back to the beginning, are you a big golfer? So can you talk to us about that and really how you started the account?
So I'm just a sports enthusiast, and I'm entrepreneur at a young age. Started a business and started to realize that when you golf, like, or when you're running a business and you're doing a lot of sales,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be on the golf course. And you see it in movies and all that stuff. It's real. So I started going out. I was a baseball player, and I was a pitcher, so I wasn't even really that good of a hitter. And I just went out. I'm really competitive, and I sucked. And believe me, I still suck today. But I was really bad, and I was just getting frustrated to see all these people who were as athletic as me or were way older than me. And so I just started playing more, started kind of self teaching myself. I lived on a golf course and got my handicap down to single digits.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I've always just had fun on the course, like just goofing around, betting, talking shit to friends and stuff. And just like you would with the boys on the weekend or whenever you're getting out there. And to me, that's where I found most fun in golf. And then I started seeing, watching the tour and picking up on a few players. And like, that was kind of the time where Ricky was emerging as someone, wearing the baggy, colorful clothes and the flow out of his hat. And I was like, all right, like, dude, this guy's pretty cool. I like how he's kind of changing the game. And so I started kind of falling in love with it. And a few years into it, I just started making some of these social pages and doing some fun stuff. And I couldn't believe how it blew up and where it's at today.
That's crazy. So you just kind of started off by having some jokes with your friends, and then kind of transitioning, some of those jokes or some of those same, storylines, I guess you could call it, into memes and posting them for a lot of people to see.
Well, so my first page was Hiss a Lot, which started, a long time ago. It was more like 5 years ago, and that started really because we had a friend who he's a little older than us, and he's like sold a couple businesses. He's made millions of dollars, and he had this back surgery, and he stopped golfing with us for a couple of years. But one of the best things with him, he was always a fun gambler. Like, I mean, scrappy player, shoots probably in like mid 80s, but he always just like pressed you on 17 and 18 and took all your money. And the best thing about him though is he had a rubber snake in his golf bag, and it was hilarious. He'd pull it out at the perfect time, and we'd stage it, and we'd prank somebody that was with us, or we'd prank the cart girl, and the reactions were so funny. And he had this like camera roll full of videos that were just priceless. I mean, you're belly rolling out laughing if you get to be a part of one in person. And so just having that like not be with us for like a year or two, one of my friends was like, dude, we got to get a snake. Like, why aren't we doing this? Like, we got to pick up the tradition. So I bought a rattlesnake, a rubber rattlesnake on Amazon, put it in the bag. And my first attempt, I got one of my friends, and the reaction was just unbelievable. And we were laughing so hard, like we went back to his place afterwards. We were grabbing drinks and watching football or something, and we're like, dude, we should do a social media page and just put these out here and just do a bunch of these videos. I mean, they're hilarious.
Uh-huh.
And so he came up with the name Hiss a Lot, and we just, I made some stupid logo back then that was just like, let's throw this thing up and see. I started getting people more when I went out, car girls, and just people at the club that I was a member at. And before I knew it, I had like 5,000 followers. It was on Golf Channel. We were, it was just insane. And I had a couple like NFL guys reaching out, like, "Hey, where do I buy one of these things?" And I'm
Really?
like, well, I don't sell.
Where you buy the
sell
snakes?
them. They're on Amazon. Go get it.
Uh-huh.
So it just started blowing up, and dude, it's now at 62,000 followers. So it's not as big as my other pages because I kind of got bored with it. It's just the same thing, over and over again. But it got big quick, and it's been on Bleacher Report, Barstool, Sports Center, because a lot of the NFL guys and NBA guys, they're like us. They want to go out on the course and play golf and goof around.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like all about Hiss a Lot. So they'll get the snakes. Like Golden Tate is probably like the biggest Hiss a Lot ambassador. I mean, that guy like pranks everybody you can imagine. So that's cool. But like for me, I just saw this void like after some time in golf. Like I love jokes, I love memes, I like making fun of myself, I like making fun of other people, and I just saw like there was nothing like that in golf. It's just such a stuffy sport, and how we know it as amateurs and just hack golfers, it's not like that at all. Like when I go out and play on the weekend with my buddies, like we're talking shit to each other, we're taking each other's money, we're laughing at ourselves for hitting a terrible shot. It's actually a great time, and it's a good escape from your normal life. But when you see these guys on TV, they're so dialed in and they're so serious because, I mean, it's their job, it's their career, and they've worked their whole life for this. So I'm like, man, there's so many jokes to be said, and there's so many douchebags on tour, and there's so many dumb things that happen that, like, why aren't people doing something about it? So I just typed in PGA memes, and it was available, believe it or not. And I was just like, all right, let's do it. And I'm not going to lie, like I didn't start it with fire. I mean, the first month or two, like kind of sucked. I like went back and deleted pretty much everything, and just like, cause I didn't know who I really wanted to be and how I wanted to do it and how edgy I could be. And when I found out like, hey dude, just take the kids' gloves off and do it how you want to, that's where people really liked it. And the page just blew up. I'd get messages from everybody, from players to players' wives to media figures or, notable people in golf. And they're like, dude, like, keep doing what you're doing. This is hilarious. Like, I can't publicly say that or, stuff like that. But just keep doing this. This is hilarious. The golf needed this. And so, like, it just kind of fueled me to be like, all right, I'm going to keep bringing the heat. And fortunately for me, I've been able to be around some of these players and some of these events to shape my own opinion on who these guys are and their personalities. And then having friends that are even closer tied has allowed me to kind of further expand on some of the jokes I make. But it's been fun, man. And people obviously like it. It's grown quite a bit. I've pissed a lot of people off too along the way, and that's fine as well. I can't make everybody happy. So it's just been fun.
How did how going to the specific players and building the relationships, how did it come about with Smiley Kaufman? Because I know you kind of go after him a couple times. So what was that like?
Yeah, I mean, like, to be honest, like being fully candid, like 2017, the page didn't exist. And I'm one of the dudes that's like, man, I'd love to be at SB2K with Smiley, Justin, Jordan, and Ricky. I mean, they're having the time of their lives.
Absolutely.
And man, Smiley's just killing it. He had just won in Vegas, like not too long before that. And like, he's just living the dream. Right. And unfortunately for him, it's nothing personal. It's just, he's the one guy who's played consistently bad for a longer period of time. And, you can sit there and point to injuries, you can point to whatever it may be, but obviously it's probably more so between the ears. He's got some stuff he needs to work out upstairs because he's a great player. He's young and he's athletic. He's talented. So, we'll see if he'll get the real cracker shot to like turn it around, but he just continuously played bad. And for me, in any of these pages, if you're a public figure or you do something stupid or bad and someone pokes fun at you and then you attack that page in the comments or whatever, one, you're probably going to get fired back at, not only by the page, but by the following. Mm-hmm. Like the first joke that I'd made about Smiley is he's sitting on the Natty Tower, and I just said, when you finally break 80 on the PGA Tour. And like Dude, it was really funny. Like, because he was, he on the first part of his struggle.
Yeah.
And then the second one was I think he'd shot under par 2 rounds in a row, which he hadn't done in a long time, and he still missed the cut. And so I made a joke around that. So it was like showcasing his success, but also his failure there, but not making the cut. And that's where he kind of started getting a little chirpy in the comments. And then, it just fueled me. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna make a few more of these jokes. He blocked me, so that fueled me even more.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just kept missing cuts, and then he just kept missing cuts, and I just, kept making some jokes, and people were like asking for the jokes, and you got to give your audience what you want, and that's where I went with it. I made one joke that involved his wife, and it wasn't making fun of her. She's great. It wasn't anything about her looks or anything. It was just she was reading the vows at their reception. Someone sent me the picture, and I just made a joke from like Wolf of Wall Street where Matthew McConaughey's like, dude, those are rookie numbers. You need to pump those up. And I just said that she was reading his scorecard, saying he needed to improve his numbers. And he lit me up, man. It was late at night. His words were slurred on text. Like he's probably had a few natties in him or something. And he was pissed. Mm-hmm. And I was like, listen, dude, I'll be the first person to congratulate you when you win. I want you to win. It's not personal. I'm like, I won't take it to that point anymore. And I learned from that. I'll make fun of like Justine Reed or Lucas Glover's wife, Krista Glover. I mean, they're doing things to put themselves into the spotlight by, making public comments about other players or beating up their husband or, doing stuff that's like, hey, you're going to probably get memed about, and I'm not going to sit here and say sorry for that. But with his wife, there was no reason to bring her into the mix and stuff. So I apologized and moved on. And man, it's gotten to the point where it's like, I feel bad for the guy. I want him to win. I do, but we'll see. He's like the Cleveland Browns of the PGA Tour right now. He's got to step it up. And I mean, that's why you're the butt of some of these jokes.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, he's a guy who made the PGA Tour, won some money out there, friends with some of the biggest guys in the sports. He's got a good life still going for him. So if there's a couple of jokes out there, I think being in that position, you do have to have a little bit of thick skin, obviously within reason. But that's one that we had to bring up.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, just in terms of other PGA Tour players' reactions, it sounds like some guys are, DMing you. That's a pretty good one. But have you gotten to know some of them over the years, and kind of how has that influenced the way that you perceive them on the page?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like Bryson is one guy who like I'll joke about all the time, right? Mm-hmm. And it's always playful. I've never made fun of him in a way where it was malicious. I mean, obviously he's a guy who is completely different than me from most people. He's very like data driven, very down to the number. He's kind of a quirky guy, obviously, but it's so cool for the sport. I mean, he brings such a unique lens to the sport, and obviously it's working. He's number one in pretty much every statistic. From February on. So, what he's done in the weight gain department and just is increasing his ball speed and everything, it's just insane. But he takes it great. I mean, I think, and I've had conversations with him too about how he's handled criticism and some of the different things. And I think he has regretted a lot of the stuff that he's done and he's learned because he's young. But he will comment quickly to be the first one to laugh at the joke. He'll respond to some of the haters in a way that people get behind him. And that's something that, I think everyone should learn to do. Mm-hmm. Like, I have a few ideas, honestly, like if Patrick Reed's wife wasn't his PR person or whatever, like I'd love to just sit with him for 5 minutes and be like, dude, I destroy you all the time and I'm sorry. But here's the deal. You're really fucking good at golf. If you're going to keep playing golf and you're going to keep doing phenomenal, you're going to make all the Ryder Cup teams, President Cups teams. You're probably going to win another major or two. Don't you want people to like you? Uh-huh. Like, come on, dude. Like right now he's like living the dream because there's no fans out there that's giving him shit or anything. But like, you would think you'd want some people to start liking the guy, And I have a few ideas that I think would be great to where it's like, dude, social media is your platform. Like, bite back, do some fun, playful things, and like let people know you're human too. And like, just let's have some fun. And like, he's silent. Like dead silent. And there's a lot of them out there that are like that. I mean, of course you're going to get silence from like a Tiger Woods, but when you're a guy that has controversy around you or you might not be as liked as much, you should do a better job of stepping up your game to be a little bit more likable on social media. And those guys just missed the mark. Like a Bryson, Pat Perez, Kevin Na, a lot of those guys, just great dudes. Guys that like I can message back and forth with. Some of these guys, I have their cell numbers and we'll text, and like they have great sense of humor. They're just one of the normal people, and they have fun with it. They realize it's not personal, and just enjoy it.
Yeah. I think it also says a lot about a person if they can see a joke about themselves and think it's funny. I think it just makes someone more relatable and honestly a lot more likable. So, when you do see those players commenting on the memes that you're making, and even just the act of commenting and being in on the joke goes a long way for everyone who sees it.
No, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys have followed it too closely, but like Lee Westwood was one that we went completely full circle. Mm-hmm. I was making fun of him and Luke Donald for being world number one for so long and never winning a major. So I photoshopped Tiger into a picture of them two playing. And it was like, wow, look, 15 majors in one picture. And, it was great. Like the post went nuts, and a lot of people were commenting and tagging Lee and Luke. And, you had your people from Europe that are like, oh, yeah, you're a wanker. You suck. You probably can't even hit the ball 200 yards. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, me being good at golf has nothing to do with me being able to point at facts and just make a joke, But Lee commented real quickly and just said, wow, real funny coming from a bloke that lives in his mom's basement and has a small penis. And I was like, wow. I'm like, that is the best thing that's ever happened to PGA memes. I was like, this is unbelievable. But part of me was like, dude, I like Lee Westwood. Like, he's a freaking grinder. Yeah. He's been a great guy. Like, he's won so much. Like, I like the guy. So now I'm like, oh, he probably hates my guts. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Never going to probably get a chance to meet him or whatever anyway. So what does it matter? So I made a few jokes between then and, me meeting him this winter. And he responded, but subtle jabs. And then when I got the chance to meet him when I was in Abu Dhabi, we talked, and I was like, hey, I'm PGA Memes. And, we buried the hatchet and we had a good laugh, and it was fun to just see. And just, it's like, listen, these guys probably can't take a joke sometimes. You never know when it's going to hit them, and some of the stuff is pretty, close to their heart. So they can get pretty pissed. Like with Lee, that's a pretty sensitive subject,
mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's what I got to do. I got to have fun and make jokes at the points that are real and that are going to be funny for the audience, and just keep at it. So,
is that your introduction? Is it, hey, I'm PGA Memes, like with a guy that you've like gone back and forth with on Instagram?
It's weird because it's weird. I don't like that, but it's like I was at the U.S. Open last year at Pebble, and we were at the Lexus hospitality tent, and they had a bunch of these players coming in and out. They were speaking that were Lexus players,
yep.
And Wesley Bryan was there, and I know his brother George, but I don't really know Wesley, and so I didn't really personally I didn't really care to be like, oh hey Wesley, I was just standing by him, and someone was like, oh hey, that's Travis, he runs PGA Memes, and like. Just stops. He's like, you're the guy who has single-handedly ruined Smiley's career. And I'm pretty sure he's the guy who didn't make the cut. Like, I have nothing to, And so we talked and we were good. But then Jason Day came around, I want to say like an hour later. And I've always been a big Jason Day guy. Mm-hmm. And he signed a flag for me through a friend when he won the PGA Championship. And so I was like, oh man, I just want to go talk to Jason Day and just say hi. And so when I went up to him, I said that. I'm like, hey, I run that PGA Memes account, whatever. And he's not very active on social media, but his wife Ellie is. And he just like stopped. He's like, dude, I love that page. He's like, oh my God. He's like, dude, you are hardcore. He goes, but just keep at it. He goes, and promise me, like, if I mess up or I do something stupid, make jokes about me all day. He goes, I don't care. I can take it. And he goes, everyone out here can take it. He's like, if they say they can't, he's like, they're a bunch of wusses, And it was cool to have that interaction with him. But I definitely try to stay away from the whole, like, I am PGA Memes thing. How's it going? Like, it's just, I don't know. It's a weird thing, but I've been around people in a room where they didn't know for like 2 hours, and finally they find out and they're like, wait up, dude, why didn't you say something?
Yeah.
Like, well, what am I going to say?
That's awesome. So. That's really cool how, I mean, obviously it's such a big account, but how aware all the guys are and how big of fans they are, that's pretty cool. So, like, what goes into making the memes in terms of, are you literally just kind of following on social and thinking of something, then putting it together, or can you walk us through that the process?
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know, it's an interesting thing because like some of the stuff just like, I mean, it happens and they write themselves, and like the bigger the page gets too, a lot of people will like, influence or send ideas and stuff that they can't quite put it together. So I'm like, all right, yeah, piece something together or whatever, and I'll bring it to life. But for me, like watching tournament play, like I can for sure, see stuff and be like, all right, there's a meme in that, right? Or and there's also stuff that I think is appealing. I try to keep it close to the tour and player specific, but there's a lot of memes that are great that are used in all these different verticals. Whether it's just like it's on like the Fat Jewish, or it's on all these other older pages that just post a bunch of memes that are reused. I can look at those images and be like, all right, there's 10 ways I can take that and bring it into golf. And I think that's one thing that I've tried to do is like blend in some of that stuff into like the PGA Tour content and the Patrick Reed and Smiley Kaufman stuff, to where it's like there's a good blend and mix to where it appeals to all people. Because I think that if I was just making memes about tour players and tour events, it still would be good, I think, but it would probably be a much smaller audience of people who'd really care. Like I just posted one before I jumped on with you guys, like when you make a bogey on your scramble team, like, and the guy's writing the F word on the chalkboard or whatever, you can all relate to that. We all know everyone cheats and lies in scramble tournaments. You got to go and shoot like a 50 to even have a chance. So if you make a bogey, you're screwed. So it's like, all the comments are blowing up of people like talking about how they cheat and all that stuff. So it's like, I'm appealing to most of the golfers that are out there, and those posts just get shared thousands of times. And if they don't follow me already, hopefully they pick up and it just continues to snowball.
Yeah.
And
it's pretty crazy.
I feel like that audience too is so much more relevant than the dry older guy who just likes to sit down and watch the PGA Tour coverage like Thursday through Sunday afternoon. Like there's such a bigger market to go after and appeal to. And over the past couple of years, as we start, or 5-10 years, as we start to make golf more relevant, like that's just gonna keep getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, no, for sure. And people's attention span is terrible. So, like people try to, I try to definitely separate myself from the PGA Tour. I'm not affiliated with the PGA Tour, but people will come to like a platform like mine as I'm memeing through a tournament to get like updates. They're like, oh, well, I can go to the app and see the scores, but like what's happened, And so if they see like, oh, JT did something kind of stupid, or Ricky, did this on the back nine or whatever, which was awesome. Like, I'm trying to put positivity and some humor and some of the stuff that they do that's boneheaded into the memes. And so it's weird for like the younger generation and for the people who have a smaller attention span. It's almost like a media platform to where they can get their updates of what's going on. Right. So I'm better at that some weeks than others. Like, golf is back. I haven't done shit for the last couple of months, so I've been more glued to the TV when it's been on. So I've been a little bit better. But I think as it's on every week, there's some tournaments that I like don't even watch. I get enough info to where I can make enough jokes and memes to make it work.
And then majors are where you probably really lock down.
Yeah, I mean, majors are huge, and there's always a good storyline going into the major, right? Like, is Rory going to get the green jacket, make jokes about that, or Phil going to get the Grand Slam with U.S. Open, and Brooks only shows up to majors, so you already go into it with like your top 5 or 6 funny storylines, and then there's always some asshole like Brandel Chambly or somebody out there that says something stupid, so you got to make a couple jokes about that. But I mean, it's just always interesting. There's always like one thing that happens where you can make like 10 memes on it. And I've always done a good job of trying not to go too far and do too many. But like when Patrick Reed fluffs his lie in the Bahamas in the bunker, like I can make 8 memes on it and post them all within 30 minutes, and they all do very, very good. Versus, if it's a normal day, like I should probably try to post like 3 or 4 times a day, and that's it. But if something crazy like that happens, I can go ham on the account and just post a ton, and like they all do good.
When something like that happens, are you just like, yes, like do you get excited and you're like, all right, I got these 5 ideas, let's pump them out?
Yeah, dude, because like it happens where like I'm I want everybody to know, like, I'm actually a good person. I'm a good human. I don't just sit here and talk shit and make fun of people. And like, listen, it's funny. People will come back to me and be like, "Well, you suck at golf." I'm like, okay, yeah, who gives a crap? Like, if I was good at golf or as good as these guys, I'd be out there playing, but I am not. Like, I picked up golf when I was 25 years old. You know, I wish I would have picked it up when I was 5, but it is what it is. But at the end of the day, like, when I start feeling bad for some of the stuff that I'll post, like Patrick Reed, because like I'm friendly with his caddy, Kessler. Like, him and I like have each other's phone numbers, and like I'll text and stuff with him, and like you know, he's a good dude, and I want, like, and his story's awesome, like him getting on the bag and like the success he's had and stuff. And everyone I've been around just said great things about him, you know. But like I don't have great things to say about my time around Patrick and there's other people too that say the same stuff, and then you see the stuff on TV. So it's, you know, but you get to the point where I'm like, man, I feel bad. I'm kind of beating this guy up, and like some of the followers get worn out too, like, oh, that's all you do is make fun of him or whatever. And then he does something like that, and it's like, dude, okay, I feel good about it again. Like, this is why I've done it. I have now another like year of ammunition to like go at this guy and, you know, see what he does. And I actually made a meme about it where it was like the cycle of Patrick Reed, and it was like, you are here, and it was like, you know, he makes a mistake, he doesn't own up to it, he doesn't apologize, you know, wins a tournament, makes another mistake, and it's just like on cycle, and it's the way it's been for his career, dude. And it's you think that he'd get his shit figured out, but he hasn't. So. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, this has been great. Let's head to the rapid fire questions. Checo, you want to lead those?
Yeah, let's get into it. So number one, I see that Bandon Dunes book behind you. So what is and nobody has mentioned Bandon Dunes as their favorite course yet, but what is your favorite course you've ever played?
All right. So favorite course I've ever played is Royal County Down. So that's the top of my list. But if I'm going to say like domestically, I'm going to say Bandon Trails is my favorite course.
I have to get out there. It just looks so unbelievable.
Yeah, it's the best. It's better than going to Ireland and all those places, guys. Like, it's unbelievable. So you guys got to check it out.
Favorite club in the bag?
8-iron.
Got it. Why 8-iron? Just hit it the best?
Yeah, it just feels good standing over it. I don't know. I feel like with pitching wedge, a lot of people say like, oh, I feel great with my wedge in my hand. I tend to pull that more than I'd like, but 8-iron, I feel like I'm more dialed in, and I also use it a lot around the greens too. And that's from like my experience at Bandon. So I do a lot of like bump and run, and just the loft's perfect to where I can just chip it up and get it close to where I have a makeable putt at par or salvage a bogey if I need to.
And what's your lowest round you've ever posted?
76. So it's not great. Like I said, I'm not a great golfer, but it came in tournament play in the quarterfinal, it was in the semifinals to the club championship, and I made 0 birdies too. So it was like dialed in, and so yeah, I was proud of that. And I breaking 80 right now is something I'm trying to do coming out of quarantine, and I haven't had much success yet. So
that's awesome.
I hear you.
I can't believe you did that in tournament play. I feel like everyone's like, oh, yeah, my low score, I was out with my buddies, you know, we were just messing around and then got serious on the back nine, but that's awesome.
Yeah, it was wild. And if I have a minute, I'll tell you this story. Like, I was playing, it was match play in the net flight, obviously, and the kid I was playing, I didn't know that he was, like, all there. Like, honestly, like, it was socially awkward, and I didn't know he was, like, all there, and, like, mentally I was playing really well, and I was like, man, I'm going to smoke this guy. Like, he doesn't look like he's that great of a golfer, had a little awkward swing and stuff. And he comes out and shoots 1 over par on the front 9. And I'm like 3 down. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, and I think I shot like 3 over or something on the front. So I'm playing pretty damn good. And then I ended up, you know, stringing on a ton of pars in a row, and he started blowing up. But like, the fact that I did that with no birdies, I was pretty happy with, because I'll usually make a few birdies around, but I have the doubles and, you know, a triple that pops up. So we'll see, man. My goal is to definitely break par one day. We'll hopefully get there.
Trey had 68 the other day.
Wow.
Career day.
Look at you, dude. That's your career best?
Yeah. That was It was something. It was the same thing that you kind of said. I had the same feeling. It was like, I just didn't have any bad holes. You know, I just didn't have that double or triple that I would normally have, or a couple of them.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
And then last one, who is your favorite PGA Tour player?
That's a tough one. So I would say before all this started, I'd have to say Ricky was my favorite watching. I just liked the swagger he brought and everything. I still root for Ricky, and it pains me to see him not win a major, and hopefully that's something that he can do soon. But like now doing all this and being involved, it's hard for me to sit here and say like there's one guy over the other that like, I really, really like or I root for. It's tough. So there's so many guys I pull for. Like Abraham Answer, really wanted him to win this week. He's a great guy, played so well. So yeah, but I'll say it's Ricky. I still want him to win that elusive major, and hopefully he can get it this year.
We've asked a bunch of people that question, and probably majority of the people have said Tiger Woods just because of all he's done for the game. But I think today there's so many good guys coming up on a tour that like really getting to know their personalities and their game is just so fascinating.
Yeah, and it's amazing to see Tiger do the 180 because, for me, I wasn't as into golf and following golf as much when he was at the height of his career in the beginning. But I heard he was just a complete, jerk to a lot of people. I've heard some pretty terrible stories, actually. And outside of just what you do in your personal life, personally, that's never bothered me as a fan. But parking lots where fans are asking for certain things or wanting his time or so. But now it's like complete 180, it seems like, from where he was at, and that's great to see. It's great for the game, and and a lot of these younger players are just I think they're helping lead that charge, and everything is just so out there now on social media that if you are a prick, it's going to be exposed pretty quick, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
awesome. Well, really appreciate you coming on. This has been really fascinating for us, so I'm sure it will be for our audience too. And good luck this year with all the memes, and I'm sure we'll be in touch soon.
All right, guys. Take care. Appreciate your time.
Later, Travis.